Welcome back. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Appreciate it.
Got 26 of your favorite friends on the call here.
Best friends up forever.
Let's start out with the first question. Alex, forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, so we'll just say Alex.
No worries, Jordan. This is Alex Bubke here with Bookie's Basement. So, Jordan, with your 6 years of eligibility, I'm hoping this means class of studies won't be as difficult. Correct me if I'm wrong. However, with that being said, can we expect to see an increased social media presence from you, whether it be on your podcast, streaming to viewers on Twitch, working with state legislators as one of the leading voices in NIL and Division I sports?
I mean, I don't know if I can do more than what I did on social media than I have the past 4 years. So I think I'm just going to keep following in what I have been doing. I've created a platform for myself to, talk about important issues and, something that I don't think is too political with name, image, or likeness. I've been a front runner on, pushing an advocate for college athlete rights. I think it's an important issue and I'm going to continue to fight for it because, I think the fight's almost over, that we're almost going to be, accomplishing our mission of getting this to in fruition for the NCAA. So I think it's right on the horizon and we're going to keep pushing. As far as my social media presence, I'm going to continue to be outspoken, continue to, be a confident guy on the court, off the court, and nothing's going to change with that.
Mike Halas.
What are your motivations for coming back this season?
Definitely want to provide leadership for these young guys. That was it's funny. And Chad wrote about this in an article yesterday when he released that I was coming back, that Fran basically was re-recruiting me this past, 2 weeks, which is very weird because, I'm 23 years old and I'm being re-recruited to be back in college. So, to kind of make that full circle movement of, having the option of coming back and, I really wasn't planning to come back and, a couple of things happened and things kind of fell in line for my opportunity to come back to have even brighter, moment for me to be able to do that. So Coach McCaffrey got me in his office a couple of times and re-recruited me and laid down some, the framework of what he wanted this year from me. And one of them was, be able to provide my leadership to the young guys that, played last year and are going to experience arenas that are going to be full with, hopefully full with fans. And, it's a totally different game with that happening. And, the guys coming in as well, he wants someone to, be that guy to, continue to provide leadership for, what's about to happen, this incredible journey that we're on. So I think that was a huge selling point for myself because, I always think of myself as a leader and, what better way for myself to learn more about myself and help others is coming back this year and try to accomplish something great.
David Eichel.
Hey, Jordan, welcome back. What do you think your reception is going to be like when you go back into Hilton this upcoming winter? And how much are you looking forward to returning there?
Oh, man, I think I need to have security with me every step of the way from going into Hilton and outside of Hilton. But no, this is what college basketball is all about, college sports in general. Iowa State fans can love me or hate me, but I can say that, I know how to rile up some fan bases. And I think that's what's so great about college sports is I have the opportunity to do such a thing. And, you look at bunch of college athletes in the past, Johnny Mansell, we go down the line of all these sports and all these athletes that were very outspoken and provided kind of this fire for, college sports. And I think that's what's so great about it. And something I'm going to continue to do this upcoming year. And Hilton's definitely going to be a hostile environment, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Don Doxey.
Yeah, Jordan, tell us a little bit about your discussions with Coach McCaffrey as far as your on-court role. I mean, are you going to be playing mostly the two-guard spot, do you think?
Yeah, the main thing, one of the reasons why, I kind of made the decision early on that I was going to come back is I didn't want to impact Joe Toussaint and, his development as a player and wanting him to get back to kind of go into the spotlight that he was when I was injured and, play that role of being a point guard and helping guys around and become a better basketball player. So that was one of the main reasons why I was not looking to come back. And, one of the things that Coach McCaffrey said was that he wanted me to be more of a combo guard. So I would start at the 2 this year and let, Toussaint take over that role of being a point guard and kind of running the team that way. So, I'll definitely still have the ball in my hands a lot, but, I think my ability to move off the ball like I have a bunch of times throughout my career will create a different aspect to this team. And I think it will make us better in the long run.
John Bohannon.
Jordan, how much did the way the season ended affect your decision to come back? I mean, obviously, it was a tough loss. Did that have an impact at all on your decision?
Not really, to be honest with you. Even, a week or two after the season, I had my end of the year meeting with Coach McCaffrey and basically, my plan was to move on and, play professionally, whether it was in States or overseas. And that was the path forward moving forward. And nothing was said really a lot about me coming back. So, some things had to fall in line for this opportunity for me to come back and wanted to consider to come back. And I think that a lot of those things helped me out to make a clear decision. I did keep somewhat of a gate open. I've signed up for a bunch of 1 to 2 credit hour classes that I had an opportunity, if I didn't even touch my schoolwork until now, that I still had an opportunity to, be eligible for next year. So I had to work my butt off to stay eligible for next year, but that's why I wanted to wait on my announcement until Monday to make sure that everything was falling in line. But really looking forward to next year and helping these young guys out.
Grant Becker.
Hey, Jordan, I know you went over some of this with Chad, but can you kind of walk us through the process that led from you saying, I'm probably not going to come back to I am going to come back? And how much did the advice of your brothers who had all, who had been through this before and are sitting around thinking maybe one more of those would be fun, how much did that weigh on your decision?
Yeah, the first part or second part of your question, my family played a huge impact on me, deciding what I decided, because all my brothers said, looking down the line, even, Jason, the oldest one in our family, he was saying that if he had a chance to go back for one more year of college, he would go in a heartbeat. And, a big thing for me when I was pondering on coming back or not, even after the meetings with Coach McCaffrey, is, what's it going to be like 20 years down the road when I'm done playing basketball and looking back on my career and thinking, man, I have one more year to go back to the University of Iowa, one more year to possibly lead this team to, we're technically underdog again, something that I thrive on. And that's something that Connor and Patrick told me when they're trying to get me to come back. You're like, listen, your whole life, you're underdog. This is what you thrived in to, try to accomplish great things when people doubted you. And I think this is a year that is kind of like that. And that was definitely a selling point for myself, kind of playing that underdog mentality and, kind of stepping into kind of Luka's position that he was the last 2 years. So, that definitely provided me some pathway moving forward and trying to help me make a decision. But, definitely my brother is saying, the amount of people that told me the last month and a half saying after a season, just to come back and, just do whatever you can to stay one more year, because the amount of people that have said that if they had one more year to go back to college, they would in a heartbeat. And I didn't want to kind of have that regret later in my life.
Mike.
The name, image, likeness bill in Iowa died in the Senate. How do you feel about living in a state where there wasn't a desire to get that passed, at least not by the majority of the Senate? And while it looks like athletes in other states are going to be able to profit off their own NIL this coming season, what are your thoughts on all that? And you're passing up a year potentially of professional money somewhere. What's in this for you?
To answer the last question, nothing's in it for me. If anything, people can say I've been ungrateful through these last, year or so speaking out about college athletes, but I don't think they understand the scope of what I'm doing to try to help others around me, other fellow college athletes. It's going to make their lives better on moving forward. And the younger generation that's going to come up to become college athletes are going to be better because of what I've been doing, what Geo Baker has been doing, what Isaiah Livers did this past year. What's in it for me is I'm going to continue to push for these future college athletes to benefit off a basic right that every other student on campus has. And it's an absolute embarrassment to the NCAA that they haven't passed anything. I just saw recently they finally backed a bill in federal Congress recently. I think it was the last couple hours or so, but I'm hoping something will get done by the end of the fall, because like you said in your second part of your question, there's going to be college athletes, a lot of them in the southern states and the big time SEC schools that are going to be able to reap the benefits. And I'm so happy for that, because they deserve to. And it's nothing that I myself will be, I won't be sad about it because I'm not doing it possibly, and they are. It's everything that I work for. So continue to push other states to move forward. And it kind of goes along with the first question about Iowa. It's really disappointing that Senator Whitford did not decide to push that bill forward. It passed with flying colors to the subcommittees. I thought it was a great bill that was written by Senator Bolden and other senators that helped write that as well. We dealt with a bunch of wording in that bill as well with Ramogi and then CPA and other fellow college athletes in the universities across the state of Iowa. So to see that to be held up by basically one person was very, very hard to take in, because we worked really incredibly hard for that. There's a lot of momentum from a lot of other states across the country, and we thought for sure that was going to be passed by, before this summer. And it's sad, but we're going to keep pushing forward. We're not going to let that, impact us of how we move forward.
Why do you think it wasn't?
Politics, to be flat out honest with you. Anything that doesn't get passed in Congress is politics. And as soon as it kind of gets to that political line, I kind of stop, being spoken out as much as I do about it, because it's, it's a different world in the political environment, as you guys all know. So I don't know what happened between the time we created that language of the bill to Senator Whitford not deciding to pass it. But like I said, other states have passed bills, and that's because of the momentum that we've created as athletes, and we're going to continue to push forward.
Tom?
Jordan, it seems like CJ's decision kind of impacted what you were doing. Is that fair to say? And what were your thoughts when CJ made that decision to leave the University of Iowa?
Yeah, I mean, CJ's decision definitely played somewhat a part. My ability to move off the ball and not have to worry about if I came back, I wouldn't impact Joe Toussaint's trajectory as a player in college, because that was the main reason, like I said, that I didn't want to come back. So his decision to decide to transfer, CJ's decision to decide to transfer, allowed me to reopen that gate, and Coach McCaffrey as well to re-recruit me to kind of be more of a combo guard this year. And that definitely played a role. But with CJ's decision, I've always been, I'm a huge Coach McCaffrey guy. He's been backing me ever since day one. And I'm a huge college athlete guy. And I believe if someone wants to leave somewhere, they deserve to. So that's as far as I'll get into that. But, like I said, love CJ, love Coach McCaffrey. And I'm hoping for the best for CJ.
John Bohannon?
You've talked about taking advantage of the opportunity you're given, and you're talking about playing in front of fans. Do you think this season will feel any different for you, or do you think the pressure will be different, or do you think it'll feel just like any other year?
I think it'll be way more fun and exciting this year. Not to say last year wasn't. It just never felt like a real season as far as it went through the months. And, every game felt like a scrimmage. Yes, the games were on national television, but not having fans there, especially players myself that have always fed off energy from the crowd, and being in a home environment and being in a hostile environment like an Indiana type, I always provide that as an extra fuel for myself to, do as best as I can. So to have that not there the last, year was just didn't feel right. And that was another, decision that helped me make my decision, was because of that factor that fans are more than likely going to be able to pack the arenas this year, and kind of have one last send off for myself as well to, play as best as I can, and, hopefully further my legacy at the University of Iowa by helping these young guys, do something special this year.
Okay, we'll take 3 more questions. We'll start with Corey.
Hey, Jordan, I know you're very present on social media and whatnot. The rumors circulating, and I know Tom kind of touched on this, but the rumors circulating around CJ even late in the season, I'm sure you saw those rumors. I'm sure guys on the team saw those rumors. How did you guys kind of handle that in the locker room?
don't really pay attention to rumors about what's in the team because we know that when we're taking the court, that whatever from the outside is not going to matter. So I really don't think that impacted us as a team through the season. People can, say what they want from the outside of thinking that, his idea of transferring before the season ended impacted the team. But, I didn't think anything of it. I don't even think I saw it, honestly, until the end of the season when he transferred. So the guys were locked into the season. That didn't impact it at all. It's hard seeing CJ go because he's a guy that was a great friend of myself and, a fantastic teammate. And I don't think his teammate mentality never, faltered when people say that he was transferring. He was always a great guy to be on the court with, great guy to be off the court with. The locker room was never impacted by it. So,
Matt Randazzo.
Jordan, you mentioned a couple times or referred to being an underdog, and you in the past, and then this team this year. What do you see on this roster? What do you see with this team, and how can you prove, or do you feel like this team can prove, I guess, the quote unquote experts wrong going into the season?
100%. I think the young talent that we have on this team, and myself, Connor's leadership, Keegan's been through the ropes already as a freshman by playing a lot of minutes. I think what we have is a great combination of leaders and as well as young talent that can make an impact. And I think that'll be really exciting for Hawkeye fans to watch because, yes, we don't have as high expectations that we did before last season of being top 5 in the country basically the entire year. This year, we kind of have to prove a lot. And like I was going back to earlier, why I decided to come back, that's something I kind of thrive on, that mentality of being an underdog and accomplishing more than, ever was expected by the outside or even internally. So I think that it's going to be a really exciting year. Coach McCaffrey will do a great job. There's always a lot of question on, especially after this last year, how this team will be, but he's put together such a great team already in such a short span. You got to give him so much credit for that. Rebecca is going to be great for us. We just have a lot of great guys that are going to make a great impact.
Okay, Mike, final question.
Yeah, Jordan, love to ask you a lot more questions sometime.
I'll be here for another year, so don't worry.
Yeah. This one is about defense. The Gonzaga game, the Michigan game, the Oregon game, these things sort of exposed your program's defense. And I know that you get knocked for defense. How can this be a better defensive team? How can you be a better defensive player?
Yeah, I think just taking the role of, wanting to be a great defender. I don't think I'm as bad as a defender as people make it out to be. I think there's a lot of exaggeration on social media. A lot of people that don't watch the games that just like to look at box scores. And there's a lot of that throughout, every fan base in the entire country. But, I think having such a quicker team this year and having Joe Toussaint play the 1 and myself to move over to play the combo guard, there's going to be a lot of better matchups for this team and being able to handle, guarding ball screens and, maybe hard hedging on ball screens and be able to switch up our defense even more because we're going to be so much quicker to be able to make that decision on when we want to transition defenses, basically because, we're going to be a smaller team this year. So I think, essentially that'll help us be a better defensive team because we're going to be playing a little smaller and, be able to, transition defenses a lot more than we did last year. Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of young talent on this team to be able to do that, and that's why I think it will be really exciting to kind of experience, from my end and as a team as a whole.
Okay, thank you for your time, Jordan, and thanks everyone for joining us. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.